Hello everyone and welcome to DCS once again. Today we're going to be demonstrating some of the different bombing type methods available in the F-16C Viper. Currently on board we have an outfit of 4 GBU-12s, 2 on each outer station, and 2 GBU-10s, 1 on each inner station, and then we have an AIM-9X and an AIM-120C should we encounter any air-to-air threats, but we're out here in Nevada. We're here safe in the US, so it's going to be dummy targets, no active threats, so we shouldn't worry about running into anyone. Let's take a look at the TAC map and see what we've got going on. So you can see this is us here in the F-16. We're actually supposed to head to waypoint 1, 2, and then bomb along 3 and 4. But I am going to head towards this cluster of targets here. We'll engage a few of these. Perhaps a couple of these, and then we'll drop one of our GBU-10s on either this or this bunker. So anyway, I've actually got visual. That is the little patch that we're looking for there. So we need to gain some altitude. So we'll kind of orbit for a little bit while we gain altitude and set up our different systems here. Let me just get our standby attitude indicator recaged. Don't know how that uncaged itself, but that's okay. So we're going to go to air-to-ground mode. And you can see currently we're set to CCIP, or a continuously computed impact point. I'm going to change that to CCRP. We will do some CCIP bombing, but I want to start with CCRP. It's because it's a lot more accurate, and it's a lot, in my opinion, easier to do because it's almost entirely computer controlled. Then I'm actually going to swap these over, and then I'm going to change our FCR to our target pod page. You can see we're already in air-to-ground mode. Then I need to make that my center point of interest. Now we're soy, and I'm going to recenter that window. So now our targeting pod is looking straight ahead of us. Set it back to TV vision. And I can change the thermal, make it white hot, black hot, or back to the normal TV. I can recenter it so it's straight ahead on our horizon. So we've got our targeting pod set up. Now I'm going to try to aim it on one of those targets out there. I can see one of the bunkers already. And there should be a nice row of vehicles going up here. Alright, let's slow the old targeting pod down. I've got visual. It's right around there. And then set our view to narrow. Yeah, there's a target. So we've got a target designated. We're not even remotely lined up this path, so we won't do it. We've lost over 10,000 feet. In fact, due to my poor flying. But we do have a target designated, which for me is the hardest part of CCRP bombing. Let me see what we've got in the external tank. It's empty. I think we've got enough where we can burn for a bit. I'm going to kick in the burners and then get some of our altitude back. Here we go. Oh, it's so quiet. And now it's not. Looks like they might have done some remodeling on the afterburner texture on the F-16 too in between updates. I think it looks a little bit better than it did before. It didn't look bad to begin with, but it definitely looks better. Alright, so we've got our target designated. Set to track on the targeting pod. Oh, look at that wing flex that they recently modeled. That looks great. Background on target. Dropping altitude now. Just below 200 knots. So as I come around here, that vertical line on my HUD, I want to get lined up centered. I want that to be centered on my HUD. You can see there's where my targeting pod is tracking. So I'm going to roll out here, I'm going to level out, and I actually need to come back left just a bit. And you're just trying to get that and your pipper nicely lined up. So there we go. And then, as we overfly the target, you'll see that bar on the top. It's actually coming down now. I'm going to press and hold weapon release, and you'll see it flash. And when it flashes, we've released a bomb. There's the flash. The bomb is off the rails now. I'm now going to laser the target. And you can see on my targeting pod screen as well as my HUD, I have that flashing L, indicating that I am designating a target with my laser. And now we wait. Switch it back to TV so it doesn't blind us when the bomb hits. So we're now overflying the target. And the bomb should impact shortly after. Oh, game lock up. Boom, there it is. Alright, laser's off, designating the next one. And it's literally that simple. So we've got one off the rails. I think it came off of the left side. Yep. One off the rails. And you can literally do this all day. Like I said, as long as you can PID it. So I'll go back and burner gain a little bit more altitude this time. As long as you can ID your targets, you can bomb from pretty much whatever altitude you're comfortable at. I was in a multiplayer server not too long ago, and they had a SA-6 site. And I came in, I don't know, somewhere in the 40,000 plus foot range, where if there was a launch, I could easily defeat that missile. Dropped my bombs, turned around in a way that my targeting pod could still see the target, so I could still designate the target, but I wasn't still flying towards the target, and as a result, the SA-6 site. Down through 200 knots. Full afterburner. 36,500 and climbing. We're below 200 knots now. Exchange a little bit of airspeed. I'm sorry, exchange a little bit of altitude for airspeed. Get our track point. Coming out of burner. Alright, we're nicely lined up. Get our nose level. Make sure we're still pointing at the target, which we are. Get our pipper and our line aligned there. I'm actually in a steady climb, holding right around 300 knots. A very shallow climb. Bar's coming down, weapon release is holding. Getting that line lined up as close as I can. Bombs off the rails, and we're going to laze the target. Trim out the aircraft, because I think that other one came off the right-hand side. It did. So we're lasing the target. Bombs falling. And in a bit, just after we overfly the target, we should be able to see the explosion on our camera. Or on our targeting pod, rather. Kaboom. Laser off. Alright, let's switch to the GBU-10s. Pull our field of view out. So I want to hit one of those bunkers down there. Looks like F-15 tried to splash one of them already. So we're gonna re-slave our targeting pod. Pull a little bit of power out. I'm certain this is not the best way of doing it, but it is the most timely. And that's all I'm really here to do, is just quickly show you guys how to deploy these different weapons. So I can see the bunker there. Should be in our targeting pod's field of view. It is. Alright, in through 31,000 feet. I'm going to roll the aircraft over, bring our aircraft out of afterburn. Turn back towards our target. Down through 30,000 feet. Speed is right there. Rolling out level. Gonna have to come back left just a little bit. Start regaining airspeed and altitude. And just like before, we'll wait for that bar to start making its way down. Once it does, we will press and hold weapon release and continue holding until the aircraft releases our GBU-10. Bar is moving. Pressing and holding weapon release now. You'll feel it. She'll move. Yep. Bomb is released. Lasing the target, trimming out for straight and level flight. And just like before, just after we overfly the target, we should see an impact. We've now overflown the target. Kaboom. Laser off. Don't know if that killed it. Looks like it might have. Attack map will tell. Yes. It was here. There were 2 bunkers. Now there is only 1. So we'll call that a good kill. Let's recenter our targeting pod. Going to send this back to my FCR. And then put this in standby. Go back to nav mode, and then I'm going to dump our stores. There's extra bombs. So then we will fly back to... I think we'll actually just do, what is this, Creech right here? Just do the quick and easy ATC. Yeah, Creech. So we'll call up Creech, get some new munitions on our aircraft. And then I'll show you guys CCIP. So I'll call in Creech, land, and then I will check back in with you guys.
Colt 1-1, inbound.
Altitude, 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 altitude.
Okay, so we are on the ground at Creech, just landed. Not the best landing, but again, just doing it for demonstration purposes. We're going to re-outfit with some unguided bombs, dummy bombs. So on the outer stations, I'm going to equip 3 Mark 82 Snake Eyes. And then on the inside pylons, we'll do a Mark 84. Similar setup as before. Big bombs on the center, small bombs on the outside. Another fuel tank, and we will refuel as well.
Request refueling. Request rearming.
Copy.
Okay, we are now outfitted with our new dummy bomb load. Again, that's 3 Mark 82 Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes are capable of a drogue chute being deployed for a low altitude, high speed pass. And then we have our Mark 84s on the inboard stations. Dummy bombs don't need the targeting pod this time around, but it's not really something I don't think you can hot swap off of the F-16, so I left it in place just for realism effect. Anyway, let's taxi back out to the active. Nose wheel steering's already engaged. Taxi lights on. And a little bit of power just to get us rolling. Take off opposite the direction that we landed in because we're a milljet. We don't really care about relative wind. Or a wind direction, not relative wind, rather. Relative wind is when you're dealing with angle of attack. We do still care about relative wind.
Colt 1-1. Request takeoff. Colt 1-1. You are cleared for takeoff when ready. Climb 300 at QFE 26.75.
Cool. Quick and easy. Turning out onto the active. One thing I have noticed is, and I don't know if this is real in the actual aircraft, because obviously I've never flown a real F-16, is you can't really add too much power in while holding brakes. Go about there, and then, so I'm full brakes right now. That's pretty much all she'll hold anymore, and I'll start moving, so away we go. Full burner. That's nose wheel steering will come off. More aggressive inputs to the rudder pedals. Similar rotation speed, start pulling back ever so gently just to get the nose wheel off the ground.
Altitude.
220, we're through. Quick dab of the brakes, gear coming in. Pull the nose towards the sky a little bit more, and we'll roll out to the left. Oh, we're coming out. Master arms coming on. Back into air-to-ground mode. We're leaving the... I need my SMS page. Where are you? There. So we're going to switch to CCIP, Continuously Computed Impact Point. We'll do nose tail bombing first. We're going to select our 6 outboard. And I'm going to set first one to nose. We'll do 2 rounds of bombing with your conventional dive in, let them fly, come out, and then I'll show you guys the nose tail bombing method. Here's a nice line of targets. Just outside of that lake bed. So rolling there. Through 12,000. Out of burner, so we shouldn't gain too much speed. Yeah, there they are. Line up on them. So you can see our pipper. It's the same, similar to our CCRP, except this time we need to make sure that we can see that little ball on the bottom, and as that cross that's floating there meets the ball, that's going to be our impact point. So I'm going to roll the power back a little bit, roll inverted real quick just to get a nice good dive going, roll back level. Power back even more. We'll drop 2 bombs. 1 and 2. And this time, pop some flares. We'll actually be able to watch our bombs hit the ground, hopefully. So you can see our 2 impact points. It's not nearly as accurate, but it does work. So now we're going to go high drag with a tail fuse. This will release the parachutes of the bombs. Back to 100% power. So we want to be around 500, 550 knots for this one. So we're going to dive back in on that same line of targets as before, but we are going to get on the freaking deck. And what this will allow you to do is if you do have an environment that's rich with surface-to-air missiles or AAA, stab a little bit of burner in there just to get us closer to 550. And you can come over the top where they're not going to be able to lock or shoot you. Drop your bombs that way. So you can see the parachutes deployed. Came off of the bombs. And we got out of there without splash damage. Alright, last but not least, we'll switch to our Mark 84s. See if I can find another bunker to bust. I think that might be one there. In the middle of all that clutter that the F-15 dropped. Let's find out. Tail fusing, so I want a slightly delayed explosion so the bomb can penetrate. Yep, that is a bunker. Let's get lined up. Hopefully we'll hit it. Bombs away. Just short, but I'll take it. Just come around for another pass. Really gotta fight. Trim the airplane out here. Dab of burners. Because it just shrugged that off like it was nothing. This is the one we were attacking. Lining it up one more time. This one's going to be a bit off. Kaboom.
Altitude. Altitude.
Yeah, it was short. It's alright. So anyway, those are the two primary bombing modes. There are JDAM Joint Direct Attack Mission, I believe. Basically GPS-guided bombs. They operate exactly the same as they would on the Hornet or anything else. I'm not going to showcase those. Very much so CCIP and CCRP is very similar on the Hornet A-10. It's just a little bit different on the F-16. In my opinion, it's a little bit easier on the F-16, which is another reason why I like this aircraft as much as I do. But anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. I will catch you guys in the next one. As always, take it easy.